Welcome to another Hockey Nation overtime show with the hockey coach, your Coach Frenchy, directly from beautiful country of Thailand. And tonight we have two co-hosts directly from Toronto downtown, Mr. Nhl Recap, and somewhere Nashville, Austin, California, Tokyo. I don't know anymore, but he's back in the house, and Mr. Michael Devellano. Welcome tonight.
Thank you, boys. Yes, Nashville.
Welcome.
So,
Welcome.
then Austin, then Arizona.
So where are you right now?
I'm at home in Nashville.
Nashville?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just my son was turned off for the music when I make the transfer, so that's happening about that. So, and the Laval Rocket just scored a goal. Jaden Strubble scored a goal tonight. Anyway,
Nice.
we'll talk about everything about the NHL tonight, guys. But before we start, we would like to welcome everybody and go from there. Mr. RDP, Buffalo Sabres fans right now watching his team. The Sabres just take the lead 3-2 over the Flyers at that moment, but the Flyers are on the power play with 14 to go remaining on the third period. And then we have William McLaren back in the house waiting for the snow and to be ready for his snowmobile to go around Canada. And then we have Luc Laverson already in the house from L'Ange Gardien. The Angel Garden is in the house tonight with his octopus sandwich, or who knows what he got tonight for eat. Then tonight for Utah, Mr. Ron with Kings is in the house tonight. Ron, big fan of the Los Angeles Kings and the moderator on the house tonight. Ron, thanks to be with the Hockey National show tonight. And the Kings looking good about that one over there. And Utica take the lead 3-1 over the Laval Rocket. By the way, this is the score we got over there. That's all for that moment. We'll see we have more people going to pop up. Tonight, guys, the subject of the night we got tonight is NHL Recap October 2023. We're going to see what's happening around the NHL. Michael, he does a lot of Detroit Red Wings the morning 3 times per week. And we have another possibility to talk about maybe the NHL Draft Prospect 2024 at the end of the show. And we're going to overview a little bit the first month of the NHL with some kind of suspension and all the kind of stuff around the league. And then finally, if you don't miss, if you follow me, you know every day I make a video. Today it was the overview of the highlights of the month of the Montreal Canadiens for the Yo Bleu Blanc Rouge team with a record of 5-2. So I see a bit what it was working good for them and what does not working good for them, and what does not good. What does not work for them completely. And it was the review of the Montreal Canadiens. So today, if you watch my video when you wake up tomorrow, it's going to be the upcoming month, the preview of November for the Montreal Canadiens with 14 games. We're going to go through this on my next video. Anyhow, most important things, we have both of you. Thanks to join us, Michael, by the way, and thanks to be a part of the show tonight. Give a little bit more update because the last time we saw you is about 1 month ago. I know you travel a lot, so give us a little bit what's going on.
With me, well, my first tournament's coming up to scout, so I'll see like 20, 24 games next weekend.
Awesome.
Not this weekend, but the weekend.
That's it.
Arizona. That'll be my first look at the 2009 U.S. birth year. Supposed to be very deep in defensemen. Last year was very, very deep in forwards. So we're pretty excited about some of the defensive possibilities there. But I guess we don't know where we pick or anything yet. But it's very early. But it's always fun to get to see everybody for the first time. And then last night was kind of an interesting night for me because it was kind of cool to watch Ryan O'Reilly get his 1,000th game. It's so weird watching someone.
For some reason, Michael, you freeze right now, but it's okay. We heard you very well. It's just you freeze.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, but we heard you perfectly great. We did not miss anything what you said about the scouting. Everything.
Exactly. I'll probably switch. Maybe I'll log back in with just my computer.
No problem.
But yep, I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. We have the backup. Willie Snyder is in the house. Just kidding. But we have new people knock the door, Mr. Natap, so why not to welcome everybody during the time. Michael is going to be back with us. This is a technology, is it? It is what it is about that one over there. But Mr. Tap, hopefully an amazing great day. But
Yes.
he is back in the house, Mr. Tap. He complete his donuts and now back for put the kid in the bed. Mr. Dixon Automotive Group is in the house, Mr. Tap, tonight. Following by Abination, Mr. Tap. Abination knocked the door with us tonight.
Happy
And then
Nation.
we have
Welcome.
Gary Cornoyer is with us tonight. And then we have Michael Devillano back in the house like a magician came from Vegas.
That's it. Welcome.
Yeah. Now you
Yeah,
can
there
talk.
we go. I feel better.
Yeah.
It's not as fancy, but it's gonna work. So
No, it's looking good. It's perfect.
The
You're
sound is
perfectly
great.
great
Yeah.
right there. So yeah, so you're going to scouting the 2009 you said?
yeah, so it's so weird saying that, but yeah, 2009 birth year. Last year was very very deep with forwards. Although we drafted an excellent defenseman out of Dallas, and then also an excellent forward out of Dallas, and then we signed and we listed another forward out of Dallas who came to training camp. So that Dallas group was really strong. This year, the league, like the tier one league, is very deep in defensemen. So there's some. It would be my first chance to see the 2009s. I don't think there's quite the firepower there was last year, but we were a little thin in defensemen last year, so I think this would be a nice change. And then
Awesome.
yeah, last night was interesting because of the. I don't know if you saw the 1,000th game for Ryan O'Reilly, so that was kind of kind of weird and fun for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to see Ryan a couple times here since I moved back to Nashville, and he signed in Nashville, and I got to see his mom, which was kind of cool. And then I was texting with his dad last night, and
You have a good start. You have 4 goals already, I believe.
yeah, I mean, this is they're not going to be great this year. Like they probably
No.
lack some firepower up front, but they're going to be tough to play against. And I think that he's consistent with the
Yeah.
culture that Trotz wants. And I don't know, when you see him, he's so fit, guys. Like he's just a big, strong person, and I think that he's going to be able to play out his 4-year contract no problem. I would be shocked if he didn't. And they're going to get a lot of miles out of him, and now it's just up to them to add some more talent around him. Maybe really, and I always forget too because he was with Tyson Berry, and I always forget that they started out together in Colorado. So it was kind of neat last night. Tyson led the other players to do the Ryan O'Reilly warm up. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Very ritualistic. So he's got like, yeah, it was kind of funny. Yeah,
Michael,
so that was kind
were
of
you
neat.
surprised? Were you surprised that he wanted out of Toronto?
Not really.
Is
Um,
it because of the? Do you think the culture? Because, I mean, this is his home, really.
yeah, yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
was a bit surprised by that, and I don't think it
I'm
was a
not.
money issue either.
It's not a money issue. If you know Ryan, like all you have to do is look at what happened in Buffalo, and he is very big on mindset, culture, preparation. And for him to not want to go back is probably, and I did not talk to him about this. I did not talk to his dad about this. So I'm just making an assumption. The assumption I had was that he would not want to stay in Toronto, and that's what happened. And I didn't hear that he wanted out, but obviously that's what you're saying. It does not surprise me at all. He has a very, his success is not because he's the greatest skater. It's not because he has the greatest puck skills. It's not because he's, the greatest shot in the game. He competes more than anybody. He works more than anybody. He is the first guy on the ice and the last guy off the ice. And when I went here locally, I went at the end of a training camp skate, and who's on the ice? It's Ryan, and he's working on little
Yeah.
things. And if they have I don't know if it's a boys like a country club mentality, he would not drive with that. Like he would get along, I think, with John Tavares. I think that their personalities are probably close, but if there's any flyboy type stuff, that's not Ryan. Like if you know him, he's just very salt of the earth, works his butt off, and I don't know if that's why that would, but that and then I
Yeah.
think the other you can there's this in the end there's a certain weird dysfunction about the Maple Leafs organization. Like you have two companies that hate each other owning the same organization, and the guy in the middle is trying to sell out back to a pension fund. So it doesn't. It just permeates through. It's just a tough thing. I'd be shocked if, he's the type of person that would smell, hey, this ain't gonna result in a championship. That would be my assumption, but I don't know. I have not talked to him about that. I
Ah,
just
makes
congratulate.
sense. It makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's. I don't know. It's hard to explain, Tap. Like when you're around him, I learned. Like I said that to him. I go like, I learned from you, not the other way around. I just learned how someone prepares, gets better every single day, and outworks and outtrains everybody, and that's why they're successful. And that's I
He's a
learned that.
professional.
And like, there's professionals, and then there's Ryan. Like I've
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
seen a player like that, but that's just
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, we're going to welcome back, guys. You don't mind. KLS, our friend KLS is with us tonight. John Grega from Boston is in the house. And the monitor, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Luciano Graziano is in the house. Doesn't want to talk about Toronto Maple Leaf last night. We had no choice. We're going to talk about the Toronto Maple Leaf. Just kidding about
They
that.
had a
But
good game.
you have a lot of things. We're going to overview a little bit the last news around around the NHL. If you don't mind. By the way, Matthews Nylander looked like Bobby Orr, go from north south all the way. He did not finishing, but he did not finish. But was a great play about that. Big news happening during the day. He said
That's not like
resign. Pierre Dorion resigned as a as a GM of the Ottawa Senator. Would like to have your first impression about that situation, and maybe what's next after that, and what's going to be an impact for the Ottawa Senator. So. Mr. Nartap, if you can give us a little bit more information about the situation with Ottawa Senator, behind the situation with there. Not looking good, Ottawa Senator, at that moment.
No, I mean the good thing is they didn't get off to a horrible start like they did in the past 3 years. So they haven't taken themselves out right from the get go. To me, it's not a surprise with Dorian and with DJ. I think he's next up in line to go. Usually, you get new management. That's what ends up happening after a while. They want to bring in their own personnel and believe in a slightly different system. So it doesn't bode well for him. But I mean, I think this is something that was overdue. They have to go a different direction. Their window is now, and they have to make that push. And they're not going to do it the way they are now.
Yeah. Michael?
I mean, just based first of all, they are still a very young team. However, they have like not very many weaknesses. The Shane Pinto thing was bizarre. Um, so that's kind of an odd thing. That's a young player that's out for 41 games. That doesn't help them. But even with that, they on paper look like they should be a playoff team. And I don't think DJ Smith has ever got them to overachieve. And I think if you had a top coach, then he would look at that, drool, inspire them, prepare them, and make them a playoff team. Because there's zero reason. Like, if you got Tim Stützle, Brady Kachuk, Josh Norris has been hurt for a long time. They just signed Jake Sanderson to, like, what is it, $64 million extension or something like that. So you're paying
Yeah,
him big
yeah.
bucks. You got like, they don't have a lot of holes, and if you believe in their goaltending, so what's left is preparation. And then as far as the off ice stuff, just too many screw ups. Like that losing a first pick is, and you just spent 900 million on a franchise. That's just not going to be acceptable.
Exactly. Having said that though, gentlemen, who do you see if it does happen? Who do you see as the natural coach coming in? And can I throw a name out there? I'll say Gallant.
Well, Steven Stais has been, around a while, so I'm trying to think of who would be connected to Stais. So it might be off. I don't know. Gallant would make sense, but he's had a lot of problems, like leaving what you would think is prematurely. So there's something there that's weird. It's a really good question in your Tap. There might be a short term fix and then a long term fix, and I don't know. It's a really good question. Bob Hartley has really deep ties. That would be
Hartley's a
interesting. I
good
don't
one too.
Like he's
Yeah.
from that area, and he has a and that doesn't necessarily mean that that'll work. But like Bob Hartley's a guy that maybe you don't love him, but he really prepares his teams and players, and he'll let the young guys do their thing. Um, so to me, that would be interesting. I know there's always some retread aspect to that, but I mean, I don't know. He's connect. He owns a junior team there, right? Like in that area. That's the what's the team that Claude Giroux came from? I can't remember, but he's from that
And he
area.
was with
So
the Hamilton Bulldog before that, and then he was 10% of the Montreal Canadiens the end before he got the Ottawa Senator. I'm talking about the owners for the Ottawa
The
Senator. You
owner,
talk
yeah.
about Bart
Yeah.
oh, the
Arkley.
owner. I was
Right
thinking
now,
Bob Hartley.
yeah, he does only radio station and TV show, everything like that. Everything like that. Someone talk about GM Patrick Roy and Paul Arkley as the head coach.
Patrick Waugh is interesting. I
Yeah,
think he
that's
really
interesting
wants to
too.
come in, and it's not far from where he is in Quebec.
I think they need a coach like that right now. That's what they need.
Maybe
They need a coach with passion, with someone can create some kind of intensity around the team. He will, I don't know. I could be wrong because I don't follow too much Ottawa Senator. I always been thinking that that organization is messed up, like from the top to the bottom, and then you have all kind of the country club inside the locker room. Remember, like a couple years ago, with
really
everything happening
no.
and everything like that. And I
Oh
think
yeah,
they cannot find that kind of culture now. They're looking better. The young prospect they get, the team is not bad at all. They should be better,
no,
but you always drama in Ottawa. There's always something wrong in Ottawa. That's at the end of the day. It was the trait of that and Dorion did not give the list of the on that. Vegas got screwed about this one. They tried to send that enough to Anaheim. And then you got Pinto, got suspended 41 game. And then now you have injuries. You have a now defenseman Shabbat. You have the defenseman Braxstrom. You have the defenseman Zab. Three pieces of the puzzle. It's a thing right now. I'm not looking, and the goaltending is not like the best so far. They are 4-4, but on paper, like you said, I don't know if Michael is up. They're supposed to be great, and but
they look good.
they cannot connect together, and no reason. I don't know at the end of the day, but Michael, you've been in hockey for many years, and after hockey too. When you bring a new GM, the coach is there does not stay alive for many years.
No.
Who was the coach in Hamilton when Steos was there? I'm trying to remember because they he was there and they went to the championship, right? Was that when
Was
Kaliev
it
was there?
or was it Bouchard?
Maybe,
Which team you talk
maybe.
about?
I mean, well, in the Hamilton Bulldogs, or not the Bulldogs, but the OHL franchise, were they also called the Bulldogs? I
No,
can't
it
remember.
was an American Hockey League. It was long time ago when they've been there. Like, is it not the year with
Well,
Carey Price? I think
no,
that's the year.
Yeah, I
no, but
think you're right.
he was the GM of the OHL Hamilton Bulldogs from
Oh, you talk
and
about
and
Sayos.
Theos, right? So I'm trying to think of who the coach was there. What's the young coach that was in Erie and then he went to Philadelphia? Knobloch, is that his name?
Uh,
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm blanking on the
I
name,
can't
but he coached
remember.
Connor McDavid
Yeah.
and he coached Connor Brown and he coached Alex DeBrincat. And then he went to Philadelphia and he had a cup of coffee. That might be an interesting connection because there's a connection to Hamilton with him. Um, I'm, I I'll remember the name. Blanking on it.
It'll come to you.
Yeah,
yeah, it would be
Erie Otter.
interesting about what happening about this one there,
Yeah, no.
for sure. Name you, but I think Bob Ackley is another good selection over there. I said me they're going to fire this weekend. If they lose against Pittsburgh, and I thought they're going to fire right away. DJ Smith and bring Patrick Roy. That would be my end about that one there. Let's move on with other news around the league. I'm going to give you answer your question in the next couple of minutes, guys. I know um,
Chris Knobloch.
Ron asked this question, and we want to talk about three things. First of all, let's talk about the neck guards. Michael, what can the WHL today? The WHL announced they're going to have
Mhm.
Now they don't have enough net guard around in Canada right now,
That's weird.
USA, but they're looking about that. So this is the first league right now they get for all the players in WHL. I don't know if you have any news about that, Michael. Anything you want to talk about the net guard around what's going on and maybe NHL? Did the Buffalo Sabres take the lead 4-2 right now over the Flyers?
Yeah, I think this goes back. Was it Trent McCleary that took a puck to the throat, and he was playing for the Montreal Canadiens, I think. And when that happened, all minor hockey in Canada, for sure, I don't know about the States, had neck guards. So the kids going up right up until they go to major junior have always had neck guards. I don't know why you wouldn't. It's even part of like an Under Armour piece, and it's such a small thing, but it can prevent, a pretty
Save your
catastrophic
life.
thing. Absolutely. And it might have saved. Now, that was like a really messed up situation. I'm still trying to get my head wrapped around. Like, it's really tragic what happened to that team. Like, I remember Matt Petgrave was like a 13-year-old. Like, he's a 1992 birth year. Like, I coached against him for a I just watched him growing up. And it's just really hard to see something so terrible that whether it was bad judgment or an accident, either way, like it's just what a horrific situation. Something as simple as that could have maybe prevented it.
Yeah, for sure. Very, very tenuous situation. Like I'm surprised that we haven't seen a death in the past, um, because
Very
of
lucky.
situations that do come up. I mean, this whatever. I mean, I've read many things that it was intentional. Many other reports that it was just a freak accident. But I just question how you can get your skate that high up in that
It looks
area.
really
It,
weird.
yeah, like I don't think the intent was to do what
Kill him.
ended up happening, but it was an attempt to try to stop him, and it went wrong, and
But
that's
it's an
the
insane thing if
consequence.
the case. Like
Yeah,
it just, I don't know if you've seen the video. It's disturbing.
I
Like
did.
I tried to watch the beginning of it, and it kind of looked like at first I thought he was missing the first hit, and then his outside edge buckled, and but then I'm like, well, how'd the leg get way up here?
Yeah, it went out.
So it's really questionable. Like it's horrible. I mean, no matter what. But I think, and Patrick makes a good comment here. Like the OHL and the Q have got neck guards. All minor hockey has neck guards. I don't understand why the W didn't before. So it's a no brainer. And I think if I'm a pro player, like why wouldn't you wear a neck guard?
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know, Michael. I look about this. Doug Jarvis, Don Lever, Ron Wilson. Yeah, all the
Yeah.
coach of the Bulldog. I don't know. That
McCleary.
would give you an idea there.
Oh, so Ron Wilson,
Don
Don
Lever
Lever,
was at 2005 with Doug Jarvis before that.
but
And
not in
that,
the OHL.
I'm sorry.
The, that's not in the OHL.
No, this one it was an American Hockey League.
Yeah, so if you look at Steos came from the OHL Hamilton Bulldogs, which is the same name. The
Yeah,
other
yeah,
one
yeah.
was a Montreal Canadiens affiliate. So I'm trying. There's a coach there, and they won the championship when they had Kaliev. I thought, like they had a really stacked team a few years ago. I'm blanking on the name of the coach there, but I mean, I think Patrick Waugh makes a lot of sense. Like he's a big personality, but if you're bringing him in, like he's going to want to be GM and coach, right?
yeah.
Like he's just, which is a tough dual portfolio. Like who does that today? Nobody. Like so
Now you
it's got to
have
be like
George Burnett, John Gruden, Dave Mansell,
Dave
and
Manson.
2015 that Hamilton. At this team, like they built, like they was moved in 2015, Michael, in
Right.
OHL.
Okay.
So Josh Burnett, John Gruden, not the NFL coach by the way, but Senator John Gruden.
So and John Gruden he just filled in for Rick Bonus in Winnipeg, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to happen. So he's coaching in Winnipeg. I don't know if Rick Bonus has come back yet. Um, yeah, I don't know. Patrick Waugh makes a lot of sense. There are other really good coaches out there. Like there's a lot of coaches that were up for coaching jobs that didn't get it. Like one is Mitch Love. I mean, he's an assistant coach in Washington. I don't know if you could pry him free from being an assistant coach in the middle of the year. That's why I feel like there could be just a short term thing and then a long term solution.
Yeah,
Like
we'll
I
see
could,
what
if
happened anyway for the next guard. What happening about this? You have a conversation between the NHL, PA, and NHL. Those kind of situation in NHL, it take time to move those kind of mandatory everything like that. Remember, guys, at the beginning, usually it's a new players coming with with a new equipment. Usually, it's not like the player already play at that moment. If you remember the helmet, you know they let the player play without helmet. The player was already involved in playing NHL before that, and after that, the new player have to wear the helmet. Same situation with the visor. I think at some point it's going to happen with the neck. The Swan company work with other kind of special material equipment to helping the next situation, net guard, and we'll see in the future. Um, we'll see if who is going to be the first player in the NHL do it. That would maybe helping fun thing happen about that. But again, it's a piece of equipment. I think now it will be mandatory for many other leagues. Minors could be AHL, ECHL, and all the junior and everybody else. Because I when I was referee, the kid at high school,
yeah,
everything they can do to put this under the arm, they will do it the best they can, or they
I
not use
know.
it, and then it was crazy about that. But we'll see what happened with the
When
net
they
guard.
first had them, they were like those Velcro things, right? And the kids were
Yeah,
always screwing around with them to not
yeah,
wear them.
absolutely.
When they started putting them in the Under Armour, and that was a little easier, and they couldn't really do much about that. But I don't know if it was as protective.
Yeah, absolutely right. William talk about John Gordon or is Burnett about that one over there. Abination talk about everything else. We have Rain is in the house. Patrick Leblanc knocked the door. Thanks so much,
Thank you very
Patrick, to be
much.
with us. GSM knocked the door. Claude Richard is with us. Don't forget, guys, click on the like. Any conversation you can talk about that one. Then I think Ron gave us another question. At some point, I did not mention about it. Joe Manella is in the house tonight, by the way. And $5-2 Buffalo Sabres guys again the Flyers
Wow.
struggle or they fall apart at the third period. Ron said I watched a video said Canadian NHL owners leave negative press about their team because it's helped bring me money to them. I need true to that. I watched a video said Canadian NHL owners leave negative press about their team
They love it.
because it helped bring
Uh,
they bring more money to them. I need true of that.
I mean, that's
And
twisted. It is. I mean,
it
I
is.
don't know.
It,
It wouldn't shock me.
I
Like the news, weather, sports, and the soap operas in Canada are all hockey, right? So it's not like any of them have won a championship since 1993. I
yeah.
think it's more entertainment for them and cash at the bank. But that would seem, I don't know. There's definitely leaks to the media. Like the last Ottawa situation leaked was not.
Now, during the month of the October, you have a lot of bad. Well, the referee have a really difficult month overall with many
That's a nice way of
penalties,
putting
everything like
it.
that. We got the Ramus Anderson hit Patrick Lane. They have a couple of players got hit from behind, and that you said Montreal because we follow Montreal. It was easy to call two or three of them, and then other game were behind, and then finally Charlie McEnroy have a 4 game suspension. We're going to see the replay here, and this is what the league want to not happening there. You have no reason. Charlie McEnroy is coming very slowly,
Oh,
but he's
go
targeting
ahead.
right now the head, like
No, that's he
right
got what
there.
he deserved. Four games like is like that was a hit to the head. The guy wasn't even looking, and he had no way to defend himself. It's clearly a hit to the head, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
like
Without
he's not
secondly, you
trying
have
to
no
block.
puck. Yeah, no puck. The
Yeah,
puck
no
is
puck.
out.
yeah,
The puck is there.
and
The puck is out, and now McEnroy is coming, and you see him in
No,
the bad
that's terrible.
situation right there, and bang over there.
yeah. McAvoy
Who did
saw
he?
the
Who did he
opening
hit?
right just above the blue line,
OEL.
and he came in
Oh, it was
with
OEL.
a He came in perfectly in time just to hit him after the puck had even been released. And from what I'm hearing, I don't know, but apparently there was an incident last year between the two teams, and this was a payback, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
So
without
he deserves
interesting.
at least those 4 games.
There was one other name. I know what the other name was for GM. There might be talk about Ryan Bonus in Ottawa because he's the GM of their AHL team, and that's um, Ryan Bonus played in the OHL with the Brampton Battalion, and then I think
Now
he
we
was
talk
part
about
of the
the son
Pittsburgh.
of Rick Bonus, by the way.
Hmm.
Is Ryan Bonus his son?
I think so.
I didn't know that. I remember him playing for the Brampton Battalion, and then he was part of the Pittsburgh Penguins staff. I think that won the cup in 2017, and he's the GM in the AHL for their Belleville franchise.
Yep. So again, another suspension, like another star for the Boston Bruins. He's going to start this in the next game for the Boston Bruins, 4 game for McEnroy. But it's something that the league want to completely eliminate is the hit at the head for any players, and NHL will see if the league will be a little bit more hard. This is the second time this year they gave 4 game. Usually it was 2 games, so I don't know. This is a new things they're doing right now. They're increasing.
Well, they have to augment it, coach, because it's getting to be very serious. I don't think 2 or 3 games sends a message. And in this case, this was McAvoy's first, if I'm correct, is his first suspension, and that sometimes has a bit of a bearing. But it's clear from the video that it was intentional, and anything that's deemed intentional like that should draw at least in my eyes about 8 to 10 games. That's the
Um,
only way the message will get across.
yeah, yeah, you can finish. It's just because I see a name here by Luc Lafortune, Mathieu Darche,
Oh, Matthew Darsh, yeah,
For
he was.
GM or coach? For coach?
GM.
Yeah, GM makes he's definitely one of the young like execs that makes sense.
He was finalist for the last 3 job in NHL. Like he every time you have
Yeah.
an open spot, he recommend left and right. They have Eric, the guy from Carolina Hurricane, the assistant coach, assistant GM with there. Eric, cannot remember last name, but I think for me, he's going to try to find a GM speak both language.
Yeah. I mean, you've got a pretty good coach with the Ottawa 67s. You got Dave Cameron there, but he's
Yeah,
James Boyd,
but
Dave
I'm talking
Cameron.
about
This
the GM,
both
right? I'm not talking about the coach. I'm talking about GM. I think he would like to have a GM can speak both language. I don't know. It's maybe not the,
really,
but I would not be surprised. It's a priority for him.
really.
Yeah, I would not be surprised he's
Maybe.
looking for that. I could be wrong here, but I think that's something he was targeting about that one there. Then the last conversation about the NHL before we go around the league is the NHL draft. I would like to hear your comments, Michael, about next year or the next year after that. We know you've been together many years at the NHL draft. They are thinking now to change the process of the NHL draft where every team stay in their cities and then the family go to one city. It's a little bit the only thing you have no table for the people for the draft in front of them is only again I don't know how he's going to do that, but the team
Like
stay at
why?
home at the rink to create some kind of entertaining over there, and they have a one spot where the family go there. Batman, everything else will be there. So, what do you feel about that new direction they want to do?
I don't understand it. I mean, we've both been to NHL drafts for the last 4 or 5 years. It was here in Nashville this year. It was a big event. People enjoyed experiencing a new city in Nashville, and there was a lot of excitement locally for the draft, and they packed it out. I think it's exciting for the players and the families to come to a new city, and they'll never forget it. I think they're copying another sport, and I don't see why. Like it, yeah, it'll save them
Exactly.
money. The one, and I don't know if that's why. Like, why would you care? Like, I realize there's no revenue model, but I don't know. I don't. So are they talking about doing like the first round in one place and then because it was a it's a big TV production, but maybe they're losing so much money on it. I don't know. I
I don't know.
enjoyed it. I think
It's
it's also a
I find
great
it's one of
opportunity
the
with a network.
it's one
Like
of
when
the
you're,
few things that the NHL does well is the draft.
yeah,
And
it's like
so
it's
why would you
ridiculous.
go away from that model?
I
And
don't
and
know.
and think of the business that you bring into the city that you go to as well. Like that's revenue making for that city. It's an opportunity for families to go out and enjoy the different activities that they have, meeting players. It's
Yeah,
I don't know. To me, it's a no-brainer. I don't know why they want to shy away from that.
Ren Bonus is assistant GM with Ottawa.
yeah, that's what I was saying. He's their AHL GM.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the assistant, but he's the GM in the AHL though.
Yeah, they control both team at the same time, but he
Oh,
assistant
that's
GM.
common. That
Can
makes
Steve
sense.
Taus become the GM? He's right now president of hockey operation and interim GM. Can he become the
Good.
GM
Why not?
like Carl Dubas did and over there?
So
Yeah.
I posted today on Twitter. I said Steve Stais announces that he's searching for new GM. Just announced Steve Stais appoints himself the GM.
And
I honestly
then we have Greg Anderson
I'll do
just
this.
announced. Greg Anderson signed a contract one day with the Ottawa Senators, going
Yeah,
to
that's
retire
good. I
um,
like that.
as a
Yeah.
jersey as a member of the Ottawa Senators. So Greg Anderson. That is the news we got on this moment. We have Danny T is in the house. Welcome in the house, Danny T. Thanks to be a part of the show tonight. We're going to cover everything else. William McLean, next to the NHL playoff, the draft generate a lot of eyes and all the sponsor management economy to Central Local. You're absolutely about that one over there. And then final score guy, Buffalo 5 and Flyers 2. This is confirmed 1-1 at the beginning of the second period. The Flame and the Star 4 game in the NHL tonight. Let's move on. What we got to talk about tonight, guys. First of all, we have a 3-star. I apologize for that one. We have a 3-star of the month. Jack Hughes, Elias Pedersen, and David Pasnak. I would like to hear your comments about those three players, if you don't mind. What do you think about those kind of players? Jack Hughes, Elias Pedersen, and David Pasnak. So maybe Michael talk about Jack Hughes.
I mean, Connors McDavid's missed some games, been the best player in the NHL by far, game breaker, leading scorer in the NHL. Like when you watch him play, it feels like nobody can stop him. So he's taken his game up another level. It seems to be, and his brother's on the team, which is kind of cool. I think that's kind of neat. Like Luke is showing he can play too, but man, he's just got such a skill set. It's so much fun watching him, and I wasn't surprised at this. Elias Peterson is like the second leading scorer. What do you have? 3 points last night or four? He had a
And
He
hat
eight.
had
trick
he
and an
had a
assist.
hat trick. He had a hat trick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did he get an assist too? I can't remember, but I mean, we forget this guy had 106 points last year. It was 102 or 106. Like as bad as that team was, they just didn't have Thatcher Demko all year. This guy is like an elite player. Like, and guess what, guys? His contract is up. He's making 10.2 million this year, even though the average annual value is 7.3. He's got no contract,
Yeah.
so he's making a case for like getting some big money here.
Yeah, Peterson is,
He's still
of
a
course, 24 years old. He become
he's
the next. Go ahead.
he's still an RFA though, right?
Yeah, he's RFA. Yeah,
Yeah, he's an
Yeah.
RFA for next year for Elias Peterson, for sure. He's going to be very interesting. This is going to be a double-digit $1 million for him, at 10, $11 million
oh
Nice.
god,
for
yeah,
him.
yep.
Finally, the third one, guys, is David Pasnak. 8 goals, 6 assists, 14.9 game. This third star could be mainly between the Debrincat, Larkin, Panarin. They all have a great month, but he gave it to David Pasnak. We know that Boston Bruins have a great start. This one was a penalty shot where I cannot believe that how he put the puck in over the shoulder, top shell. One, I saw dive
It's
on
so
the
good.
ice. So They are the three star of the night of the month, and then we have the rookie Lucas
This is
Dostal with Anam
Dostal.
Docs, four
great.
one
4-1.
410 2.79 921 save percentage for him. So great month for Anam Docs. They come back, they win I think the last three games. But Dostal, we know it was going to be the next one after John Gibson. Great performance for the round
Maybe now.
rookie. Talking about rookie, we know a lot of people gave the Galter to Connor Bedard, but you have other people. You have Logan Coley, Riley Craig with Ottawa Center, 7 point lead of
Yeah.
the all the rookies right now in NHL. Um, People thought he was going to be only Bedard, but right now he's not the only one. We'll see what could happen about that.
It's it's Leo Carlson's on this weird program where he'll play maximum 2 games a week, and then he won't play any back to back, and they're doing this off ice strength thing. So you're only going to see Leo Carlson like maybe 50-55 games, I think. But if you watch him, he's by far he's got 3 points in 5 games, 2 goals and 1 assist. He's winning faceoffs against NHL veteran centermen. He's picking up guys in the middle, like on the back check, like he's like a 13-year NHL veteran. And yeah, he's going to get bigger. This guy's going to be Barkov 2.0. Like he right now, it's really kind of unfortunate because he absolutely could contend for Rookie of the Year. There's no lock on Bedard. Like he has nobody to play with in Chicago. Like if his production will absolutely be limited because he's got nobody. Like who's
Yeah.
there? It's crazy.
Yeah. Um, Would be fun to watch. Anyway, those I think there's a race going to be interesting until
It'll be
at the
interesting.
traded line, see what they look like, and then the end of the season. But I feel like there'll be a few players that be involved with the race until to the end for sure. William McClary talk about how about Quinn Hughes on fire.
Of course.
I
I
mean,
mean, Quinn comes as advertised, right? I mean, it's part of the reason why Vancouver's where they are between Demko coming back and filling that hole, which was a huge hole, and Pedersen continuing his fine play, and you got Quinn now that's has really jumped into the situation and has contributed from the quarterback position, right? So it's not alarming that he's up there. It's quite anticipated.
yeah, what's interesting to me is he has 3 goals because he's not a great shooter. So I think all the Hughes brothers have obviously worked their butts off in the off season. The, like between Jack and Quinn, they've both elevated their game. Luke is obviously NHL ready and is way better than anyone ever said he was. I think that this must have been a phenomenal offseason for them, and they pushed each other. I know they're competitive with each other, but if you like Quinn Hughes, like Moritz Seider has 10 points to his 11, and Moritz Seider
Yeah,
defensively, right, plus minus is not perfect, but he's man, is he a commanding presence when his game's going. There's one other. I mean, Adam Fox is still up there in the scoring, so he's going to be in that
yeah.
mix.
Fox is there.
Um,
Yeah,
Theodore's got 10 points, but the one that I'm really interested in, and I don't know if he'll ever get the recognition, is Noah Dobson. Like Noah Dobson has 9 points. Here's a 6'4" defenseman that's really very difficult to play against. And he's got a booming shot, and he's a hard player defensively. So I think at some point, like this guy's got to be in the consideration for Norris Trophy at some point.
absolutely. Yeah, he's a very good solid player.
All
It's like
right.
Shea Weber too. No.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. For sure. Before we go to the NHL rest, we're going to talk a little bit about just a couple of news around the Montreal Canadiens, and then we're going to go back on what we are going to consider talking about tonight. Uh, Montreal are 2 day off before they play tomorrow night again at Arizona Canadiens at 10 o'clock. And tonight, I'm sure they are at the game. Well, they're not at the game. They wait for the game they play again tomorrow night. Arizona going to be a back-to-back game. This is another great opportunity. Long practice today for the Montreal Canadiens with Martin Saint Louis. Martin, so we talk about balance during the practice, after the practice at the press conference, talk about the balance between the three zone. Sometimes it's by speed, sometimes by slow speed, and really well words by Martin Saint Louis. But this is a great opportunity for Montreal, maybe to add another W tomorrow night again, the Coyotes at home. And this is something we expect possible happening. We don't know yet who's going to be the goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens tomorrow. And we'll see. Talking about the Montreal Canadiens, Laval just lost tonight, I believe 4-1 against Utica. Not looking good for the Laval Rocket, but the good news, Joshua Roy, the rookie of the month in American Hockey League with 12 points in the 7th game. Unfortunately, 0 points the
Call him
last
up.
2 games for Roy. How about that?
Like, call that guy up. He's kicking butt down
Too early, man.
there. Is it
Too early. Give him
12 points in
one
9
full year
games?
to sort of marinate it. It's not going to do anything
Maybe.
for Montreal to have him up. So let him have a successful year, I think, and then next year he'll be that much
But
ready.
so he didn't play there all of last year?
No, no.
I think okay.
He may
He
have
just played the.
he may have played. Did he play 1 or 2 games maybe? But that's about
I
it.
think he
Yeah.
played. You're probably right. He probably just played at the end of the year. I couldn't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, we'll see what
I think
happens about
one
that.
thing I'm keeping my fingers crossed on is Sean Monahan. Like, maybe he's finally healthy. I mean, that would be phenomenal because you can see, like, he was such an effective player early in his career, guys, and you can see when he's in
Yeah.
the lineup, like, very capable, kind of number, like a 1B, 2A centerman.
Yeah,
He can
absolutely
fill
about.
in many gaps for you.
And my next
Absolutely.
question for before we move on back to the NHL review October is this part. You just talk about Monahan. What would be is the value of his next contract, but not only him, Caden Cooley for the Montreal Canadiens. Um, they still have 1 more year to go for Cooley, but what do you expect someone is targeting next year, Marco?
I mean, the question is it going to be in Montreal? I think that's a question mark. And I think no matter what you say, he's had 5 years of bad injury history. So I think he's on 1 and 2 year deals, and he might be in the 5-6 million range because of that. It might be 4 million. It just depends on how many games he plays this year. If he shows he can play 70, 80 games, then he'll probably get closer to 6. I would think.
In our top.
Yeah, I mean, you know where I stand with Monahan. As much as I like him, I think Montreal really has to sort of stick to their guns in terms of the direction that they want to go. And I've always been weary of his injury history. And even though he hopefully he's healthy all year long, but it's something that you can't discount when you're dealing with longevity of a contract and the amount. So if they can get him on the cheap again, I I would keep him in Montreal. Otherwise, you try to deal him at the trade deadline time, and hopefully he's built up his resume enough that a playoff team or a team that's close to a Stanley Cup will definitely take a chance with him.
Yeah. Martin, Benoit Brunet and Guy Carbonneau talked tonight about Sean Monahan a lot. And he talked how important it is a veteran play with a young team. A team rebuilding, you need veterans inside the team. You cannot have only. And I will give you that's then I start to reflect. Look what's going on with the Laval Rocket. No veterans there. They have 16 young players inside that team. It does not work. Same thing in Montreal. They cannot have too many young players. They have to have a mix of veterans that have been in NHL for many years. This is really, for me, important for Monahan to stay there. Secondly, he's so good for the Montreal Canadiens on the face-off, play on power play, play on special team. He's really only one for the Montreal can do all this kind of stuff like that for the Montreal Canadiens. And he's a great leader, been in the league for over 10 years. I think if they use him, this is going to be a big, big problem for the Montreal Canadiens for the upcoming season. They don't have anybody. They don't have anyone right now around the Montreal Canadiens to keep Sean to Billy Sean Mayan. If he got hurt next week, this game is going to be exactly last year. Remember last year when Montreal
Yep.
lost, start to lose game? When they lost Sean Mayan, December 9, 2022. This is going to be for me a key important measure for Ken Hughes to sign. I don't know the contract for him, the longevity of the contract, but this is a player I believe Montreal cannot lose with the Montreal again. You can put him on the first line. This is the reason right now Tanner Pearson and Brendan Gallagher have a good start this year. He's a play driver. He carry on this team on. Everybody talk about Caulfield, Suzuki, Mike Madison, but for me, Manan, he's put this game to get that team together right now. He stick everybody on the same way. Maybe what Corey Perry played with the Montreal Canadiens, his role as a leader. I think Sean Manan and
Yeah.
he had don't have a big voice, by the way. He's not like the guy
No,
Bark.
it's
He's very quiet guy, humble.
No, absolutely. And I don't. I mean, I'm not questioning what he brings to the game because he's obviously very talented, coach. For me, a character type of player, a leader like that, I think you're more in need of a player like that as you're starting to get more relevant in terms of the standings and trying to get into a playoff position. And you can get those kind of players at other times. It's not like it's Monahan or bust. As you mentioned, we had Corey Perry a couple years ago, 3 years ago, whenever it was, and that helped out quite a bit. We see guys like
But
Maroon going
I
around.
would be disagree with you enough that you need player right now there, now, not in the playoff now. Why? Because you teach the player to become a hockey professional in NHL. What it takes every single day to become a high players with consistency every day. The
Yeah,
work
yeah,
ethic, what is important, what it takes to go there. You cannot go out. You cannot enjoy there. You have to be there at the
you're right.
beginning of the practice. You have to the little details of there, and then those players can teaching them. Think about this. I will give you an example. Like after the game or the next day, they are right now traveling to have
Yeah,
an opposite to sit with Sean Manan at the table, talking about hockey, talking about his experience versus Logan Mayu with Cole Caulfield. What Logan Mayu bring on Cole Caulfield? Nothing at the end of the day. For me, I would have said the playoff time. I would say to you now, a guy like Sean Manan and maybe one or two. Look what happened with David Savard. Maybe people laugh, but Jake Allen play another big role about that. For me, that's what I would say. I'd be disagree about that.
no, no, I totally agree with that. I think it's more of a they have to really make a calculated assessment here. It's a risk in terms of injury because if he gets injured and he's not around, then you've not only lost the possibility of getting maybe a first round draft pick out of him, you've also lost him as your leader on the team, right? And I just personally worry when you've had a hip problem. It's not an easy injury to return from, and it causes it causes you to be very cautious with the ice time that you're given, and if they rely on him too much, I don't know if his body will withstand it. Because I do get that he's the glue of the team, and he's really adaptable at every position. I don't think that's in question, and I think if the price is right and it's only a 1 or 2 year deal, maybe you go for it. You take that calculated risk. But if he's going to come back and say, I want $6 million for even 4 years, I say you
no,
can't
that
do
won't.
that.
Yeah, I could see him getting six for 1 year if he played like 60, 70 games. Like then you go, okay, fine, because he'd probably end up with point 0.8 points per game, and he'd do all the little things. But I mean, I think it's just really, really unlikely he plays the whole year.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I would say to you in Artap and Marco about that, like all your concern in Artap are good, like injuries and how many games he can play per year, everything like that. So Montreal think like you, like, but not only Montreal, a new team want to sign money in. They said, wait a minute, we cannot give him 6 years at $7 million because we don't know he can play next year about that one there. So all the precaution, it's not only for Montreal in attack, it's going to be for any other team.
Yeah,
For me,
that's
Michael,
true.
I said yesterday, he did not win the Stanley Cup. I understand that. But he make his money. Like the money for him is not like the biggest because he have already a big contract, 6.575, I believe it was for many years. So it's not
Yeah.
like his first contract, Michael. You know, when you become UFA at 26, you make $3 million, $2 million, 1 million. You maybe take $12 million, 50 million. For him, it's already at $40 million and maybe $50 million. So for him, it's not going to see the money is first priority. Now, I don't know if he wants to win the Stanley Cup. This I don't know. But I think for him, it will be more about family, prioritize, be sure he's on a great environment with around him, a good team, and a team where he have a possibility to play more minutes, everything like that. I don't know. It's something I think he fit very well with Montreal again. And Montreal maybe said, I fit well with Montreal. I'm not worried about to go to Colorado, Vegas, to 1 year, 2 years, and try to play. And then who knows? I don't know. This is my perception about Sean Monahan, but I could be wrong.
I think he just wants to be able to play more than 20 games in a year at this point. He's making money. I think it's like a guy like that wants to play, right? Like he had such a great early career, surprised everybody. He's a top player from that draft unexpectedly, and the last 4 or 5 years have been just a disaster. So I think he's just like, can he get 2 years? Can he get 3 years? Right now, that's long term for him.
Yeah, I think a max of 3 years could be the same way about him. And I think a $5 million 3 year, he could get that kind of money. And right now in
Maybe.
NHL. That time we
So
tell us about that.
just out of curiosity, how much if you're Montreal, if you're Hughes, what would you offer him to stay?
I'm sorry again.
Four.
If you're Hughes, what would you offer him to stay in Montreal?
I think it all boils down to how many games he plays again. If he has another 25 to 40 games, you don't re-sign him, or you do. It's like a million or two. If he plays 60 games, then you say, listen, I'll give you a 1 or 2 year deal at 4 million. But you're treating him with kit gloves. If he plays 80 games miraculously and ends up with 55, 60 points, then maybe he's a $5, $6 million player, but that might be elsewhere. I don't know if that's Montreal.
Yeah,
Montreal's got their eyes on other ideas.
Abnation said three,
yeah.
four, $5 million. I would send. I don't know
Long,
I would
long
not go over $15 million. So put the number all together. But I would say to you, $15 million would be the max I will go through him for that one. So it could be 3 years, 5.5 or something like that, or at 4 years at 4 million, 4.5 or something like that. I would try to get around $15 million for him. If they have a chance about that. Again, we don't know exactly, what he's looking for, but I think he's a really important player for the Montreal Canadiens. Um,
That's scary. If he's a really important player for you, that's scary because this has Stephen Weiss written all over it at the end of Stephen Weiss's career. Like his best years are gone, and he is one injury away from never playing again.
he
He's
made
had
$47 million so far. 47.
and of that, he's had 5 of those seasons, so about 30 million of that was on the sidelines. He's had
Yeah.
significant wrist surgery, and I think he had significant hip surgery, right? So he's had at least 2 major injuries, if not 3, where he had three. I think he had 3 surgeries at once, and he's never
He
been the
did.
same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, too many injury anyway.
And I think it was just the proximity to each other, and to have that many surgeries all at once, like I just, he's never been the same
Yeah.
player.
And that's the caveat. It's what hinges on this. Like I would absolutely not exceed 4 million, and I would not go beyond 2 years.
Yeah, 2
That
years
would be
sounds
my
long.